Our guest speaker this morning is Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Tuggle. Thomas Tuggle is a Lieutenant Colonel with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. He is the director of the Mississippi Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy, the largest law enforcement training facility in the state. His past assignments include enforcement with Troop E, MHP Honor Guard, MHP Recruiter, Senior Instructor for the Basic Law Enforcement Training Academy, Assistant Director of the Mississippi Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy, and served as the Mississippi Department of Public Safety's Executive Officer under 2 commissioners. Lieutenant Colonel Tuggle is a 9-time National Law Fit champion, 4 as a competitor, 5 as a coach. Thomas's professional career started when he joined the United States Marine Corps in 1987. After a 4-year enlistment, which included 2 tours in Japan, Thomas left the Marine Corps with a Navy Achievement Medal, with a Gold Star, the Combat Action Ribbon, the Southwest Asia Service Medal, with 3 Bronze Stars and 4 promotions. Additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Tuggle was selected to attend the FBI National Academy for Law Enforcement Executives in Quantico, Virginia. This prestigious institution is reserved for the world's top 1% of law enforcement executives. In the long history of the program, Lieutenant Colonel Tuggle is the first and only Mississippian to graduate as section leader, distinguished graduate, and president of the session. Outside of his law enforcement duties, Lieutenant Colonel Tuggle teaches leadership and professional development courses across the country and enjoys raising money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospitals in Memphis, the Blair E. Baston Children's Hospital in Jackson, and the Veterans Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, and Jackson, Mississippi. Thomas also has helped over 100 families across the country carrying out intervention of adolescents and adults dealing with alcohol and drug dependence issues. He is currently working with Cunningham Intervention in Atlanta, Georgia. Lieutenant Colonel Tuggle is a 1987 graduate of Hernando High School. He and his wife, Linda, have 1 daughter, Courtney. True greatness is not where we are today, but where we intend to be tomorrow. If we stop believing in today's youth, tomorrow has no future. Please help me enjoy Hernando's own Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Tuggle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Colonel Caldwell is out here somewhere. Marine. Sir, I did my research. This speech is 12 minutes and 42 seconds, just like Marines do. Thank you, Chief. To all the municipal police chiefs, elected officials, federal, state, I see my good friend Representative Baker here, and local, honored guests, law enforcement officers, and especially you, the survivors, the officers who made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you for supporting this annual memorial. I am deeply humbled and honored to be here. Today is a day of remembrance. We honor those whose sacrifices have been etched in the souls of DeSoto Countyans and thousands of people across this great state. Memorial ceremonies are unlike any other ceremonies. We come together in our communities to honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We find comfort in remembering and honoring those who have done their duty. We should look at what they did and how they did it, and in doing so, honor them by imitating their courage, their sacrifice, and their excellence. I have never had issues trying to find topics to discuss, especially dealing with law enforcement. But I struggled yesterday trying to narrow down what I wanted to talk about this morning. So I settled on a topic I enjoy: leadership and professional development. Colonel Chris Gillard, the director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol, loves to share a quote from our 6th president, John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. The men we are honoring today did just that, inspire. They inspired me to dream more. I dream about the day that men and women behind the badge will earn enough money to support their families on a policeman's salary. Those dreams have propelled me to work with our elected officials to make sure these brave men and women have a decent retirement upon a successful tour of duty. They inspired me to learn more. We have learned new ways to deal with violent suspects, educated ourselves about improved life-saving equipment, and gained knowledge on how to cope with post-traumatic stress issues. They inspired me to do more. With the changes in society, this anti-police movement, we have intensified our entry-level training. The criminal justice scholars disagree with me on that. The scholars suggest we move toward a college classroom type of environment for police training. I am adamantly opposed to that idea. I am constantly asked, what do you gain by increasing the intensity of your entry-level training? My answer is always patience. The heroes we're honoring today inspired me to become more. I knew Trooper Bubba Wells personally. I was employed with the Hernando Police Department at the time of his death. I was employed at the time as the dispatcher dispatched an officer down call, and instead of saying I-55 northbound south of Hernando, she said I-55 southbound north of Hernando. I instructed the other officer on the shift to go north on US 51 and to the interstate and jump on at Nesbitt and go south. I will travel down Commerce Street and jump on at I-55. I didn't see any traffic traveling north on I-55, so instead of going north, I decided to go south and located the scene. I was the second officer to arrive on the scene. Trooper Wells died doing what he loved. He inspired me to become a Mississippi State Trooper. So it is safe to say each one of these men were leaders. Their sacrifice inspired us to dream, learn, do, and become more. Our sixth president also said, posterity, which means future generations, will never know the sacrifices of those that came before them. This is why I feel the 14 leadership traits are so valuable. One trait that should be stressed is courage. Webster defined courage as that mental quality that recognizes fear of danger or criticism, but enables a man or woman to proceed in the face of it with calmness and firmness. In the past few years, we have been the focus of many accusations and investigations that we often perceive as being unfair. We have found it necessary to defend ourselves from broad-based charges of racism, bias, and unfair enforcement of the law. But today I'm confident that despite the many questions surrounding how we perform our professional duties, the majority of the people truly believe and support us. Not only for the job we do, but for what we represent. We represent the spirit and success of a democracy. Without law and order, our country is destined for anarchy. Brian Tracy once said, successful people are always looking for opportunities to help others. Unsuccessful people are always asking, what's in it for me? We need you to have the courage to stand with us as we fight this public degradation of our profession. You will need courage because the silent majority is just that, silent. Just remember, pride is concerned with who is right. Humility is concerned with what is right. Which reminds me of integrity, Marine Corps definition, uprightness in character and soundness of moral principles. You can learn a lot about a man's character by how he treats someone who can do nothing for him. I want to share a personal story with you, a little humor, but you will understand my point. Those of you that have attended my leadership class probably have already heard the story, so I asked you for your patience. I will turn 50 later this year. I have known my wife for 44 years. We have been together for 33 years, and we've been married for 27 years. Safe to say I'm doing something right. It is safe to say that we are BFFs. My wife and I are team leaders for the Memphis Grizzly organizations. What that means is we take large groups of people from the medical profession and law enforcement profession to NBA ball games. My wife is the clinical director of the Labor and Delivery Unit at Methodist Olive Branch. She has been an OB nurse since 1991. So it is safe to say there are a lot of people in the Memphis metro area who have benefited from her contributions. We were attending the Grizzly game one night when a lady in front of us recognized her. Come to find out, my wife had been on the delivery of their daughter several years ago. As they carried on the conversation, the husband turns around and introduces himself. My name is Todd. I am the city administrator for Memphis. And you are? I said, sir, my name is Thomas Tuggle. He said, what do you do for a living, Thomas? I said, sir, I'm a state trooper. For the next 30 minutes, he asked me everything imaginable about a traffic ticket. I missed almost the entire second half entertaining questions. To make things worse, the Grizzlies lost to the Lakers that night. Well, fast forward, 2 months, same situation. The woman in front recognizes my wife. The two women start a conversation about children. Sure enough, the husband turns around and introduces himself. My name is Phil. I am the city attorney for Memphis. I told him my name is Thomas. Glad to meet you, sir. He said, Thomas, what does he do for a living? I told him, I said, sir, I'm a janitor. He said, well, someone has to do it. He turned around. We both watched an excellent ball game. Now, my wife is furious, but at least I got to watch the game in peace, and top it off, we beat the Spurs. Well, I knew a verbal tongue lashing was coming, and on the way home, she tore to me like a lion eating prey. I can't believe you embarrassed me like that. You are not a janitor. I can't believe you lied to that gentleman. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been married as long as I have, and I see Judge Lynchard up there, there comes a time in your marriage when you have to put your foot down. Don't slam it. Don't raise your voice. Just put it down lightly because you're not in charge. I told her, I didn't lie to that guy. I am a janitor. I deal with that element of society that other people don't want to deal with. I deal with your trash/garbage of our society, your cop killers, your drug dealers, kidnappers, pedophiles, and terrorists. They call me in to take that trash out. I am the cleaner picker-upper, and they don't call me bounty. I have been a janitor for 27 years. I wish I had a blue trash can I could throw that trash in I deal with daily and push it down to the end of my driveway and let someone else deal with it. I don't, but thanks to the Mississippi Highway Patrol, I have a patrol car with a cage in it that I can put that trash. I wish I had a landfill I could dump that trash and run over the bulldozer, but I don't. But thanks to my good friend the sheriff, I have a county jail I can dump that trash. So I didn't lie to that guy. I am a janitor, and I've been training Mississippi janitors for 21 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we are. We represent the top tier of executives in the custodial profession. We have to set example for those young custodial workers joining the ranks. We have to help them understand just because some garbage carries a strong odor, we still have to handle it with care. We must follow the rules for proper disposal. We can't afford to burn it, kick it, or ignore it because we're sworn by that janitor's creed to serve and protect. To the families here, to the family of these heroes, I would like to provide some words of comfort at this stage. But sadly, I must say there are no words that can provide true comfort to a family grieving the loss. One can only provide acts of kindness in hopes of easing the pain. As I look around, I see people that have come this morning to show their respect to these public servants. This is an act of kindness. I hope this display of love will provide you some comfort. In my daily duties, I use analogies to paint a picture of something I'm trying to explain. As a trooper working the interstate, we use mile marks to locate accidents, drunk drivers, stranded motorists, etc. Mile markers are those metal posts with green tabs and numbers that you see on the interstate. If headquarters calls and tells me that there's an accident at mile marker 246, I automatically know that is the Basefield exit. The analogy I want to use to explain how we process life is the interstate. Life's interstate. We are traveling on life's interstate. Every birthday is another mile marker. Last year I passed mile marker 49, praying every day that I make it to the next one. The interstate is filled with potholes. On life's interstate, those are called health issues. We drive down the interstate in fear of animals crossing in front of us. On life's interstate, that's called anxiety. We encounter angry motorists, road rage. On life's interstate, those are called frustrations. Every one of these heroes were traveling on life's interstate. And when they passed their last mile marker, they smiled. They smiled because the next mile marker was also an exit sign. On the interstate, you will see exit signs that read exit 280. Then it has a destination out beside, Hernando. Exit 291, South Haven. If you're traveling on I-40, exit 165, Little Rock. Our heroes approached the exit and the sign simply read, home. The GPS navigation system stated, you have reached your final destination. The route guidance system is done. As I go to my seat, I want you to know that our heroes are driving on new interstate. No longer would they have to worry about potholes. The new interstate is paved in gold. No longer would they have to worry about animals crossing out in front of them. On the new interstate, they can see as far as the human eye. No longer would they have to worry about road rage. On the new interstate, all the drivers are saints. Family, this is not a sad occasion, it's a celebration. We can celebrate the fact that our heroes are now driving on God's interstate of eternity. I know their bodies resting in peace on earth because their souls are in heaven driving on. DeSoto County, thank you. I love you. Thank you for coming out supporting this memorial, and God bless you.